Everyone's worried about the Aaron Rodgers quick passing game this week, but I'm more worried about the Packers quick passing game. Let me explain.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast, iTunes, Spotify. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet, and the show for fans who know what happened. They want to know why and how. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you. Today's episode brought to you by our friends at Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. For all the conversation around Aaron Rodgers and his ability to get the ball out quickly against this Packers defense, and those issues are real. We will talk about them certainly with Chris Carter tomorrow on our crossover Thursday. But as I was digging into the statistics, it's true. Aaron Rodgers is really good when throwing the ball quickly this year, #1 in passer rating. I went and found the advanced stats. By EPA per play, Aaron Rodgers is 5th in EPA per play when he throws the ball in 2.5 seconds or less. And the only quarterbacks who have thrown the ball more quickly than Rodgers are the olds. It's Joe Flacco. And so you are in a position here where you're going to, and Tua is the other one, sorry. And those guys, look, that's what Tua does. That's all he does. But then I found the league leader in completion percentage, on throws in 2.5 seconds or less, Jordan Love. He's completing, get this, 89.2% of his passes. That is not a misprint. 89.2% of his passes. He is 3rd in EPA per play on quick passes. That is highly efficient, like highly S tier, 99th percentile, 99.9% efficiency. And yet, among quarterbacks who have played at least as many games as Jordan Love, only Justin Fields has attempted fewer quick passes, and that's because Justin Fields is physically incapable of attempting quick passes. This offense has abandoned the quick game. And you see when this offense needs to get going, that tends to be what they do. We saw it in stretches over the course of the season. Hey, just bang, 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 ball out, back foot, ball out. End of the game against the Cowboys, for all the misgivings that I had about the way that drive was handled, it was a bunch of back foot, ball out throws. Jordan Love is really good, really decisive. Fourth and short. The out route to Matthew Golden, which is an absolute dime. That's a short route. That's a quick throw. This Packers offense has, for whatever reason, decided if they're going to throw, it's going to be all or nothing. I would be much more comfortable. And they're throwing to the intermediate parts of the field this year. Last year, they weren't. And so if, 10 to 19, 10 is, there are often, like, you could have a quick throw be 10 yards. You can have a quick throw be 15 yards, depending on where the ball is and all that stuff. Aaron Rodgers throws 3-step go balls down the sidelines. One of the only guys in the NFL, really, who does that. And he's the best to ever do it. But this Packers offense, they want to be play action. They want to hit deep balls, 4th and 5, and they throw the go ball to Romeo Doubs. Now, you say, okay, that's true. But then you have 4th and 2, and you throw the corner route to Tucker Kraft for what ends up being essentially the game-winning play. Well, they had 2 short routes on that play, and they weren't open. Matthew Golden doesn't get open. Dontavian Wicks doesn't get open. But then that allows you to throw over the top. So this is related to me to the running game because Josh Jacobs has been very good. I think he's Pro Football Focus's highest graded running back this year. You have not been efficient, though, running the ball by and large. And so when that's the case, I go back to 2021 when Aaron Rodgers was the MVP of the league. And their solve for not being able to run against too high defenses was not running the ball because they struggled to run the ball. Even with Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, they had some and a good offensive line. David Bakhtiari was playing in some of those games. They just could not get it to work. Sorry, that was 2022 when David Bakhtiari was playing in some of those games. It's hard to keep track of the times that he was and wasn't playing. And so they manufactured short, easy opportunities. The same way with the running game, you always hear analysts say on TV, that throw is an extension of the running game. Those RPO screens, those kinds of things. I'm not even really talking about those. I'm talking about, quick stick to Tucker Kraft. I'm talking about slants to Romeo Doubs. Those sorts of plays, slants to Matthew Golden. Option routes from Matthew Golden from the slot. Now, not having Jaden Reed, he is your win quickly player. So a lot of the schemed up stuff that is just get the ball in Jaden Reed's hands, that's out of this offense because they don't really have a one-for-one replacement for that. Savion Williams, they tried to do some things with Savion Williams earlier in the year. We basically didn't see Savion Williams against the Cardinals for whatever reason. And I don't know that we're going to see it when Christian Watson comes back. If anything, we're going to see it less when Christian Watson comes back. Christian Watson also not really a short passing game guy, but you put Matthew Golden on the field and Christian Watson on the field, teams are going to have to play too high. And if you can't make the running game work, you have to lean on this quick passing game. And again, Jordan Love has been decisive. He has been accurate. Guys have been catching the ball 89%. I don't care what the sample is. And it's not a huge sample, but it's not no sample. Jordan Love is 58 of 65. Imagine any quarterback being 58 of 65 over any period of time. That's crazy. He's averaging 7.2 yards an attempt, a 110 quarterback rating, and a preposterous 41.41, EPA per dropback. Again, to give you perspective, that would be like a no doubt MVP season if a quarterback had 0.41 EPA on the season. The only quarterback that has played as many games as Jordan Love to be that efficient in the quick game is Drake May. So, and Jordan Love's time to throw on throws 2.5 seconds or less is 1.9. Like Aaron Rodgers is 1.83 on those same throws. He's getting the ball out incredibly quickly on those plays. That's good. Get the ball to your guys and let them go to work. Get the ball to Tucker Kraft in particular and let him go to work. If teams are going to put a shell on it and not let you do anything over the top, that was what the Cardinals were trying to do. That's what the Eagles are going to try and do. Then you have to find ways to manufacture a run game and a quick passing game. And right now, I would much rather trust the combination of Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and these receivers to make that work. Split out Tucker Kraft and let him go to work on safeties and linebackers. Split out Dontavian Wicks. They have not utilized, to my mind, Dontavian Wicks' route running ability enough. Backside X receiver, that has been the Romeo Doubs spot. That's who they trust the most in those spots. But if you watch the tape, if you look at the charting, Dontavian Wicks is open all the time when he gets any opportunities to run routes. This Pittsburgh team is going to be physical. They are going to press you. They are not going to let you get those quick throws off. But if you do get a sliver of daylight, it can be an explosive play. And if you pass protect, there are going to be opportunities to hit plays down the field. We saw that. The Bengals found plenty of openings down the field. And it wasn't just, T. Higgins out-muscling Jalen Ramsey, though we saw that too. It's guys getting turned loose. There were times Jamar Chase is running wide open in that secondary. So there is going to be opportunities down the field, but they have to find a way, with as efficient and effective as Jordan Love has been in the quick passing game, to get him going. All right, LIly Zhao joins us next on Locked On Packers. The NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it's frustrating. That's why you have to use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, it's easy, and it's backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. You can still, tickets down the road, Packers, Eagles. There's good opportunities later in the season. Now is the time, because as these wins pile up, it's only going to get harder. Get on it right now if you want to go to a Packers game, and a road game is a great opportunity. Find a stadium you've never been to. Go. Have fun. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. The Green Bay Packers got a win in the desert that Matt LaFleur was much happier about than most Packer fans that I have heard from. But they stand atop the NFC right now. So, from Fox 6 in Milwaukee, LIly Zhao, the number 1 seed, Green Bay Packers in the NFC. Zhao, how you doing?
Peter, I'm getting through. It's been a long stretch, so I can't lie and say I'm doing well, but it's been fun. It's been a long, fun stretch. But you know what? The grind is grinding, and, I'm feeling well outside of that, but you are right. We will delve into it. I've got the fall sweater on. It's sweater weather, finally in the Midwest, so I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm good. Hopefully the coffee is grinding as well, because that's what we need right now. The Brewers, unfortunately, your time covering that team has unfortunately come to an end. But guess what? Right around the corner, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're here. It's time for basketball to start. So There is no rest for the weary here, Lily. And that is true for the Green Bay Packers, who had to go on the road after 5 hours on the tarmac, almost 6 hours on the tarmac in Green Bay. They got to go on the road again this week to travel to face the Pittsburgh Steelers, who Matt LaFleur was quick to point out. They're not playing Aaron Rodgers. They're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who happen to have Aaron Rodgers. We'll get to that in a second. I phrased it this way in our little graphic here for those watching. Was what we saw on Sunday, was it more of a gritty performance from this Packer team, or another in a line of underwhelming performances for this Packers team?
I think it's twofold. I will give the Packers credit in the fact that they found a way to win in the fourth quarter. Even when you have a very underwhelming performance, it's your ability to find ways to win in that fourth quarter to earn a win. Again, there's a lot of parity in the NFL right now. Who is the true number 1 team? Don't know. So at this point, stack wins. I think that's the most important thing. But in the grand scheme of things, I think it's another game where it's been very underwhelming. It has been, you let an inferior opponent hang around, build a lead, and then you have to try and claw back. I think the Packers have had this knack of making quarterbacks look like Hall of Famers. And to Jacoby Brissett's credit, he played his mind off. He did great. But for the Packers to, again, prove they can be a Super Bowl contender, you can't play like this against a good team. And I'm glad that Xavier McKinney said that post-game. They found ways to win, but you cannot be doing this against a good team. And so it was an underwhelming performance, and I'm happy they got the win.
A rare bit of honesty there from a player to basically say, we did not think this team was very good, and we still didn't play well. And I don't know that I don't think what happened was they came out thinking they were going to beat the brakes off this Cardinals team. I really don't. You listen to the way Matt LaFleur talked about them before and after the game. They had a lot of respect for this Cardinals team. And I think they showed why. They've 5 losses by 13 total points. The record is worse than the Cardinals are. But Lily, I think part of the problem is we just saw the first 2 weeks what this team is capable of. And so in some ways, right, they're the victim of their own competency. We know how good they can be. And so any week they're not, anywhere near that good, we're going, can we see that? Can they do that thing? And they're such teases. They're so tantalizing. They have a drive, the drive at the end. They just march right down the field. 4th and 2, no problem. How about a 25-yard corner route to Tucker Kraft? And then just march in the end zone. Like they make it look so easy at times, and then they make it look so hard at times.
That's what's frustrating, right? I think again, like you mentioned, we've seen how good they can be. I think it was also, the playoff win over Dallas. That win is, again, I think the ceiling of, not the ceiling, but the sky's the limit for this team.
That's about as good as you can play in a game, right? Yeah, or at least for 3 of those quarters.
Right. And then you come back the next year and the expectations are up here, and they didn't fulfill that. And this year they come out swinging. I mean, there have been years in the past where they come out week 1, you're like, oh, I don't know how's the season's going to go. But they came out swinging in week 1 against a Lions team that's getting better and better every week. And they played their butts off. And so you see the potential for this team, and for them not to live up to that potential against, again, teams that they are favored over, that's what is discouraging. It's, do you have to be playing Aaron Rodgers? Do you have to be playing Jalen? Do you have to be playing the best of the best every single week to bring out the best in you? And why can't you bring out the best in you no matter who you're playing?
This is why I'm not worried about this team, because I do think they play to their competition. And so I expect to get a good version of this Packers team on Sunday. I expect to get the best version of them against the Eagles. I do worry very much about what is going to happen in between those games, because that has kind of trap game written all over it. If they play well and win this week, and you're going to look forward to the Eagles a little bit, like, okay, don't do that. It's going to be Andy Dalton and some Carolina Panthers teams. That this Carolina team is not a joke. They beat the brakes off the Falcons. They beat the Cowboys. Like, they'll win if you sleep on them, but let's not get ahead of ourselves here. The penalties, that seems to be the thing in these games. I mean, they've had multiple, even when they beat the Lions, even when they beat the Commanders, 10 plus penalties. They beat the Browns, or they should have beat the Browns. All the penalties we saw last week, all the penalties. It's the self-inflicted wounds. It's like, you're better than this, and you're not playing disciplined football. It's the double-edged sword of this, right? Like, we know how good they are. Just stop tripping over yourselves and you'll be fine. But they won't. They refuse, Lily. Every rake they see, they want to step on it.
Yeah, they want to live life on the edge. And I think for us, it's not comfortable. Don't live life on the edge. Don't do it.
4th and 5. How about a 40-yard pass down the field? Cool. Thanks. Great.
Great. Yeah. But, to that being said, though, Matt LaFleur spent a majority of his time during his press conference on Monday talking about the penalties and knowing that they're not acceptable. It's like, I know he's talking with people. How do we correct this? But at the end of the day, the pre-snap penalties, outside of telling your guys to just be mentally locked in, I don't know what else Matt LaFleur can do. He's not out there on the field playing and committing penalties. Just get lined up and get going. No false starts, no offsides calls. But I think it's the special teams penalties that are frustrating. It seems every game there's minimum at least one. And then, there was that one drive where there was, I forget what the penalty was, but they're backed up, behind the 20 in their own end zone. So you're not setting yourself up for success in those situations. And again, this is something that cannot happen when you're playing top tier teams like the Steelers on Sunday.
And we will talk plenty about the Steelers, but I do like, this was a game. The Packers had been the best 3rd down team in the NFL, a historically good 3rd and long team this season. They were not as good on 3rd down on Sunday. And this is the danger of playing this way, right? Like, those are high variance situations. And so we did see the Cardinals convert a couple 3rd and longs. That's not going to happen every week. But you said it. They make every quarterback they play look like a Hall of Famer. Well, they're playing a Hall of Famer this week. Yeah. So you have to, I feel like if you're the Packers, you have to come out aggressively throwing the ball this week and forget 3rd down. Try and get a 1st down on 1st down and 2nd down. They seem to be a little too methodical to me. And I just feel like there has to be a better line of getting Josh Jacobs involved and letting Jordan Love find all of these receivers. Like, do you feel like they're finding the right balance, or do they need to lean one direction? Like, what is your feel for how they can get this offense to be a little bit more consistent here?
Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like we saw on Sunday, there was just a lot of 1st down run plays called that really weren't going anywhere. And then you're in either a 2nd and medium or 2nd and long. And then you throw like intermediate pass, and then you're set up automatically quickly for a third down. And then you're banking on the team to convert that. 1 for 5 in the first half against the Cardinals. And you can't win like that when you play against an Aaron Rodgers-led team or any other good team in the future. So I think there must be something where, maybe a passing down and first down, because they're having success. And listen, the ground game is going to get going. Looking ahead, even on Sunday, the Steelers couldn't stop the Browns on the ground. So you have to imagine they can maybe get things going, but that really hasn't been consistent rushing wise for Green Bay. So they've been really good passing. So maybe you can kind of lean more on that and, not call run plays in shotgun formation.
All right, let's talk Steelers. Let's get into it with LIly Zhao next on Locked On Packers.
I'm Cody Rourke from Locked On Broncos, and this episode is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. This is Peloton's most advanced equipment yet, giving you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or you're cross-training with your favorite instructors like Alex Toussaint. It's training reimagined to make your workout more personal. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with features that help you plan, stay motivated, and hit peak performance. You can let yourself run, lift, flex, and go while Peloton handles all the rest. Plus, Peloton IQ provides real-time strength coaching, tracking your progress and suggesting weights that challenge you so you can get stronger. Plus, the new movement tracking camera, it counts your reps and corrects your form in real time, making sure every rep is safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton cross-training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com.
The NFL season is here and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Packers, 3.5-point favorites in Pittsburgh against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers wearing heinous, truly heinous throwbacks. So you hit that, and you're actually getting, for the Packers to cover that, minus 104. You're actually getting decent juice on that. That I believe has come down a little bit. Money line has not really changed, minus 176, and the over 44.5. You put the Packers with the over, you're getting almost 2.5 to 1. That's plus 246. I hit that with the Bengals. I think this game is going to go over. I think the Packers are going to be able to score 30 in this game if they play well. That means the Steelers only have to get to, 15? 15 for that to hit? I feel like you're getting pretty good odds on that. So go, check it out. Check out all the cool stuff you can do at FanDuel, from player props to parlays, live lines. Plus, you got the NBA now. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. I think this is going to have to be a game where you pass to run, where on first down you're going play action. Obviously, you have to run the ball a little bit on first down if you're going to play action on first down. But I think they've already set up that they're going to run a lot on first down. The teams are going to be playing for them. And this is not your slightly older brother, Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They are 20th by DVOA, 18th against the pass, 24th against the rush. You mentioned the Bengals, who could not run on anybody this season, were able to run on them last week, and Joe Flacco did whatever he wanted. They threw to Jamar Chase 100. Actually, Jamar Chase just caught another pass against the Steelers. It's crazy. And so the Packers don't operate an offense like that. But we started the game like they started the show like this. LIly, every show is a game for me. This is my game day. Jordan Love. This stat blew my mind when I read it. Jordan Love leads the NFL in completion percentage on throws in 2.5 seconds or less. He's completing almost 90% of those throws, 89.2% of his throws, and is third in EPA per throw. So it's not like it's just like a little bit of thing that's happening here. Like, he's good. I just don't know why that can't be a bigger part of what the offense is. Why? Jordan Love is a big game hunter. Matt LaFleur likes to create big plays. Why can't they be more content just taking some of these underneath throws when they're there? When you just get the ball to Tucker Kraft and let him go do a thing. Just get the ball to Romeo Doubs. Just get the ball to Matthew Golden. We've seen what they can do. I just feel like they're getting a little greedy here.
Yeah, and I know you're talking about that 4th and 5 on their opening drive where you're going for everything when you just need 5 yards and you can move the drive.
I mean, he's open, but like that's a hard throw.
It's a hard throw. It's a hard throw. You're right. I think there's a balance of wanting to go for it and getting that home run play versus just taking what, again, you're getting with the defense. That's what opposing teams are doing to the Packers. Granted, Jacoby Brissett and his receivers connected on multiple 3rd and long plays, but they were dinking and dunking on this Packers defense. It's what they were getting, and they were having success. So sometimes while you might want to have the sexy play of let's throw a 45-yard bomb, sometimes it doesn't dictate that defensively. So you just got to do what can get you that first down and move the chains. And while there is, I understand he's a very risk and reward quarterback. Sometimes it's just, let's rein it in a little bit. But when you have the perfect one-on-one opportunity to get a 45-yard touchdown, let's go for it. But we got to make the good throw.
Maybe 4th and 5 is not the time. But
maybe 3rd and 5.
Yeah, because you're going to go for it. Like, yeah, if Matt LaFleur is going to keep going for it on 4th down, I'm fine being aggressive on 3rd down. But then on 4th down, like, again, the number 1 completion percentage quarterback in the NFL in 2.5 seconds or less. You want to get the ball out quick in those situations. So just go do it. All right, let's talk about this Pittsburgh Steelers team. This is Aaron Rodgers. And I framed it, LIly, as a revenge game. And I got some pushback on that. Do you view this as a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, that's a good question. I am curious to see what he says with the media in a couple days.
Luckily, nothing weird has ever happened with Aaron Rodgers on a Zoom call with Packers media. Nothing has ever been weird about that.
Oh, those are the days, right? During COVID times.
Put your feet away, Aaron Rodgers.
You know what? Maybe
he's going to pull him out just for fun, isn't he? Just for isn't he? He's going to do it. No, man, I can't wait. Sorry, go ahead.
maybe if it's not. Maybe if he doesn't say it outright.
I've totally thrown us off course. I'm sorry. This is my fault. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers' feet.
That's okay.
Is it a revenge game for Aaron Rodgers? Like, do you think he still views this? Does he still view this? Like, he's always going to create a slight, right? That's just who he is. But do you think there's still antipathy, acrimony in this relationship with the Packers?
I think it's tough to say, but that being said, I know he's a competitor. First time he's playing the team he spent his entire career with. Right. You got to know deep down, he's like, I want to beat the living snot out of this Packers team. Mm-hmm. I believe that as a competitor. We've all covered Aaron Rodgers for a long time. That's just who he is as a competitor. You can't fault him for that, right? He leaves. This is the first time he will be facing his successor and the team that let him go. So why not have that fire in you to say, listen, I want to go out and beat the Packers 45-14. That's my goal on Sunday. You can't fault him for it.
And you know why? Because it happened with Brett Favre. Brett Favre did it to him. And so that he would love to do it to Jordan Love, not because he hates Jordan Love. Apparently he's got a very good relationship with Jordan Love.
Yes.
Much better than he had with Brett Favre, but Brett wanted to end the Packers. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play that way. I don't think Jordan Love is going to play that way. But it would be natural for Jordan Love. I wrote about this for The Leap yesterday. It would be natural for him to have heard some of the comments about he's not T. Higgins, the comments from fans for years about they could have used that pick to help Aaron Rodgers. There's still a very loyal part of Aaron Rodgers Packer fans who do not fully support Jordan Love precisely because of the circumstances and all that stuff. It would be natural for him to have a little bit of something to prove here too, right? Like I would not fault him at all. And he may never say it. In fact, I would be willing to bet he would never say publicly that is the case, but I would bet behind closed doors. He's like, I would really love to win this. Speaking of, I'd really love to win this game 40-14.
I think so, because listen, at the end of the day, he's always going to be compared to Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Every milestone you're compared to Aaron Rodgers. Everything you do right that's historic, you're compared to Aaron Rodgers, and rightfully so, right? This guy's a Hall of Famer.
And everything you do wrong, we can't forget that part. Any mistake is like Aaron wouldn't have done that.
Right. So you're always going to be compared to him. So when this is your first shot you're not facing Aaron Rodgers, but you're competing and you want to be the best quarterback on the field when all is said and done. There's got to be a sense of pride in you as the quarterback to say, listen, this is my team now. Yeah, I've taken over for you, but I want to prove at the end of the day, I'm going to have a better game than you. You're right. I don't think Jordan would ever say that. I know he has a lot of respect for Aaron. But deep down, I know both those guys are like, listen, I want to beat the snot out of that other team, and I want to prove I'm number one on that field on Sunday night in prime time.
Well, and guess what? Both these teams need this game. Like, this is a huge game for both of these teams. The Packers coming off, a good win for their culture, but a kind of underwhelming for the narrative purposes. And the Steelers lost to a rival, to Joe Flacco, who the Packers already beat. By the way, do we feel any different? I was going to ask you this question earlier. So we talked about the underwhelming Bengals win, right? That should have been a blowout. Okay, now it happens again, but we saw the Bengals and what they did to the Steelers on Thursday. Any different perspective now on what has happened over the last two games for Green Bay, given what we saw on Thursday? Because I feel like I've heard from a lot of people that are like, it changes the way that I feel about how the Packers defended the Bengals.
Yeah, I think when you looked at that Bengals roster, you take away Joe Burrow and you put in an inexperienced quarterback. I mean, this is what we were talking about early in the year, but then you inject a veteran quarterback who can get the ball out super quick. He knows what he's doing. Just loft it up for your talented receivers. They just needed that little piece in there to make them go. And listen, I think that does change things. I mean, the way Joe Flacco played, I kind of wanted 2 more quarters of that game between him and Rodgers. That was a really, really fun game. And so, right. And now you're wondering, all right, moving forward, I don't know who they play in their schedule next, but I would imagine that this team takes another step with Joe Flacco at quarterback. And I think just having him in there certainly rejuvenated that team this season. So I'm definitely looking at that game a little bit differently.
It hurts the Bengals to miss the playoffs bet, which I don't appreciate, but that's okay. I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs in the AFC, but we'll see. We'll see. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, though, this is going to be the story all week, as he has been getting the ball out as fast as any quarterback in the NFL this season. He is able to, unlike most quarterbacks, get the ball out quick and still push it down the field. The throw he made on the first play of the game to DK Metcalf, that rail shot that he calls it a transition go. It's just 3 steps, sometimes not even 3 steps, and ball is out. It seems like it's a bad matchup for this Packers. We're gonna let you do death by 1,000 paper cuts defense. How different do you think Jeff Hafley is going to be willing to play in a game like this? Understanding, look, Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to get hurt, but you're also playing a dangerous game, trying to blitz him and trying to out-scheme him. We saw what he did against the Vikings, by the way, in a similar situation. So, what's your read on how the Packers may need to adjust with Aaron Rodgers?
That's a good question. I feel like, and again, it's looking at it from the portion of when he was in Green Bay and teams were getting after him and he wasn't having success. I think you have to have a secondary that can go one-on-one with their receivers. That's been tough. I mean, listen, Jacoby Brissett had his way with that secondary. And when he's having his way, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers watching that game was licking his chops. Like, I already know where I'm targeting on Sunday. It's got to be up to the DBs to make their plays one-on-one and make life difficult. Can we have some coverage sacks? Can we do it that way where he's not going to be able to find guys open? I know the dink and dunk mentality has not worked. That has simply not worked. It's not going to work against Aaron Rodgers. He will death by 1,000 paper cuts you into the end zone. But I think they've got to bring pressure. They've got to rattle him up front and just not give him time to get the ball out. But do you bring 6? Do you bring 5? You got to put him on the ground. I think that's the best way to kind of rattle him and not let him get the ball out quick.
It's going to have to be another Micah Parsons game. I think because they're going to have to get quick pressure. It would be a great week to get Devontae Wyatt back. And it would be also a great week, I think, to score a lot of points, to make them play where they can't run the ball effectively. We've seen Jalen Warren be a really effective back in this offense. And so your offense, I've been saying this for years, your offense can be your best defense sometimes. And so if you get Christian Watson back this week, if you actually put 30 points on the board for the first time all season, I think you're probably going to get a win. LIly, hopefully you and I are talking about that win next week. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks to LIly for joining the show. Always great to talk with her. Chris Carter, our Locked On Steelers host, joins us tomorrow for a crossover Thursday. We should have an absolute blast. Love talking to Chris. And he's there every day with the team. He's got great insight on what's going on over there. And so we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk about this defense. We'll talk about Jalen Ramsey and Mike Tomlin and all the cool stuff that we get to talk about with an uncommon opponent on Thursday. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts to Locked On Packers. Follow me on the social medias. Follow the podcast on the social medias. We've got clips on Instagram and TikTok and all the things that you need when you're a fan of a podcast. And we've got some really exciting things coming that I'm very, very anxious and excited to tell you about. That's all coming very soon. Subscribe on our YouTube page. We'll be live after the game. Yes, it'll be a late night, 90 minutes of post-game coverage after the Packers beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, so you can stay locked on Packers.